Hey guys! Welcome to Trekyards. I am Captain Cockings.
And I'm Admiral Foley.
And welcome to Star Trek TNG Season 4 Episode 8, Feature Imperfect, our review series where we talk to you about this episode in all its glory.
Indeed.
How you
Lots of
doing,
glory.
Admiral?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing, Captain?
Stressful. You know, it's hard at the top. I think at your level you're kind of above the top, so you can afford to take days off when you're above the top, you know?
I can be a bit of an asshole, too, if I need to be. You know how it is.
Well, as things change, things stay the same.
Situation normal, exactly.
But yeah, it's good to see you. It's been a while. You know, don't get to see you as often as I think we should, but, you know, 70 of so many years does, you know, sad not to see you for a bit.
It's true. But I'm glad to be back, and thanks for having me, you know.
You're always welcome. But yeah, we took a 16-year hiatus for our TNG reviews. So you are back at the best moment, because we restarted them. I mean, obviously we called you in for that. But yeah, does it feel like any time has passed? 16 years of review hiatus. People have been asking for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while. We got to finish season 4 at some point, right? There's been a lot of Trek in the last 16 years that we missed too.
Who saw Star Trek Picard season 5 finale? I mean, that was impressive. I didn't see it coming.
They've definitely upped their quality. You can definitely compare season 5 of Picard to season 5 of TNG. It's better than season 1, which you can't get any worse. So.
Yeah, and season 6 of Discovery, I mean, they finally discovered. Like, I feel like that was the whole plan the entire time. Yeah.
And Lower Decks doing good. It's on like season.
And their spin-off Bottom Decks, the lowest deck.
Yes. That was a long bit. Hi guys, how's it going?
Hello. So you should start sharing, Stuart, while I talk to the audience.
I guess I could.
Because captains don't share.
Neither do admirals.
Well, someone's got to do it.
Oh, wow. Fine. If you're going to be like that. Go ahead.
So yeah, hi guys. Even after 16 years and 3 years of reviews, I never listened to a single one of what he does at the start. So I'm doing my own thing as Captain Cockings, and yeah, welcome. If you want to support the channel, please do. On Patreon, that's a great way. It's a monthly donation channel, a network uniform thing, or channel membership. You know, without the channel membership, we couldn't have been going for these last 20 years. So any little bit does make a big difference. And obviously Patreon. I always say that. PayPal. I see there's 2 P's. PayPal. Any little bit goes towards funding the show. Always helps. And yeah, just keep tuning in. We know I've been a bit quiet sometimes the last 16 years, but this is a special, and tune in for Lower Deck season 11 starting tomorrow. You know, because they had a hiatus in between for 5 years. I don't know why. We didn't review it because Admiral was off doing his own. You know, he's done a lot of weird stuff as the Admiral. You know, he abused his power heavily. I know you all know those stories, but he abused the shit out of his power. Some dark days. Yeah. Don't even know if he's listening. I assume he is. I never listen. Depends how accurate he is to the bit. But yes, support if you can, and just like, subscribe. We always want to hit those likes. We're at 38 likes. So please click like as we go into this season 4 episode. Oh, I guess I've got to keep talking until he's done. Is that the bit as well? That's the bit as well, isn't it? Am I? So surely a way of. I don't know. Am I flipped or not? I didn't even do anything. Weird. Whatever the thing thinks it is. But yeah, weird episode, fun episode, alternate episode. And we've already got a super chat, but I'll wait for... Well, 3 super chats. I'll wait for the Admiral to come back, because it's always good. Okay, Broken Spear. Cool. Weird one. And yes, Jeff Jacobs, PayPal. Trekyards@hotmail.com. Apparently the cat is rocking a great haircut. Thank you. I didn't get it especially done. I just shaved. But thank you. I guess it needs me when you shave, so I appreciate the haircut compliment. Hi, Super Coops.
I think the haircut compliment was for me. and be confused and think I'm still a captain.
Oh, he hasn't been here in 16 years. I mean, that's understandable, but get with the times.
See, and I even have the fancy new Trekyards Admiral. It doesn't have the star on it, but it's Trekyards.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I'm back. Hi, guys.
Super chats. I think admirals should always read high. I think the super chats always need the highest ranking officer in the room to read them. I think it's always kind of, so it doesn't matter,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Ozzy Medeiros, $5. Can't wait until after midnight on all CBS access. I mean, all access CBS. I think is what I mean. Just got my notification for Lower Decks Skeleton Hands. Yeah, I already have my PVR set up to, or DVR set up to record that for tomorrow at 9 on CTV Sci-Fi. So, Richard Trussell, £2.
Thank you.
One best channel, liking my new Trekyards t-shirt. Live long and prosper.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Love to see a picture of it. If you can post it on the Facebook group, please do. We love seeing people get our merchandise. So.
It's super surreal, but super gratifying. So please absolutely do if you can.
Yes.
Cool.
And Ozzy Medeiros, $5. All hail the superior commander. No commanders here. And Super Captain Foley. Oh, he is still stuck in the 16-year past.
Look, some of you may have been infected with a disease that hurt your memory. So some of you might not even remember the last 16 years. So for those of you, I'm sorry, but it is reported that potentially you can get your memory back if you go enough. So I think these sorts of Trekyards events would be great for you to come back, because you may gain your memories back as seeing the old boys back together. But yeah, no commanders here. Gosh,
we've aged very well. We have very few gray streaks in our hair.
Well,
unlike everyone in this episode.
Well, I mean, I was going to mention that, but Geordie, I mean, doesn't look a day over 16 years younger.
That's true.
I guess they thought enough was removing his visor to make him look different, but he didn't do anything different. He just walked on set from not on set.
Yeah, I'm going to finish reading Ozzy's thing. He says, this episode is brought to you by Riker's Famous Pizza, Skeleton Hands. Should have said burnt tomatoes extra. Olivia Julius, $5. Yet another kid in the Star Trek universe that we immediately forget about. Hashtag Star Trek plot orphans. Yeah.
Wow, that's a hashtag and a half.
It's true, too.
Damn.
And Eugene, 400 rubles. This episode has predicted uncanny number of things. Nog, B'Elanna, Geordie's eyes, Troy's uniform, Nemesis. By the way, have you seen Red Letter Media's top 5 TNG? Weirdly similar structure to Trekyards' top 10. And I watched it last night, and it's only part 1.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's only part 1. They didn't get through all their choices, but they mentioned some things that I'm like, are they aware of what we do? Because the way they do it, it's quite interesting, the things they say, too. It's like, okay, well, you got to check it out, Samuel. Let me know what you think.
It's an interesting way of talking about it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a good feel to it, so.
Sweet. Good stuff.
Taking this off now.
Oh.
Check it out, guys.
Oh.
Trekyards for the win.
Does that mean I should swap? I should revert back to a real world?
Well, we got to get that little scanner light thing that changes your pips back. And...
But which era am I in? Am I in TNG or am I in Voyager? I don't know. Or do I come from an alternate universe as we often do? I don't know. It's confusing. I don't know.
Oh, that one too. Well, let's check. There's a Trekyards version of that one too. See? Look at that. There's my eye. Anyway, we should probably start talking about the episode.
Yes. Or am I now from a fan-produced film, which doesn't have Volcron? It counts, right? No?
Yes.
Yes, Stuart, what do you think of Future Imperfect?
It's one of my
in this
all-time
watch
favorite...
anyway. In this watch anyway. Yes. I know you like it, but in this watch.
It's one of my all-time favorite episodes, and it's... This watch was interesting because I noticed there's not a lot of time dedicated to each segment. Like, just gets less and less. And I thought there was a lot more to the future part, but there really isn't. I mean, they have to fit it in within the time frame, right? And it just seems to go by so quickly. But still stands out as one of my all-time favorites. And And yeah, just nothing but good things to say. I can't really. There's not too much bad about this one, so I might give you an indication what my scores might be like at the end of this. But
oh my God, Captain Foley, where have you been?
In a holodeck? No, in a cave. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know. Somewhere. Having my thoughts read.
You know, I was promoted for like 15 minutes. It was great. That's it. That's the only time I get promoted is comedy bits. That's it. That's it. It's the only time.
You keep saying you don't want to be promoted. That's the whole thing.
Well, I'm like Riker, aren't I? You can't promote me. I could have been a captain 12 years ago.
Yes. Alrighty. It's not a $400 super chat. No, it's 400 rubles.
Yes.
Which I think is $30.
No, not that much. Those amounts are less. That's $6. When he gives 1,000, you know.
400 rubles.
Yeah, $6.
Oh, it's more than that. It's the wrong color for that amount, but that's okay.
Well, I'm sure it confuses the algorithm.
Anyway,
it sounds like a big amount. But yes, no, I like this episode. It's always one of the better fun ones. The episode it's surprising because it commits to the bit in a way they don't normally do. I mean, it's almost the entire episode is the same bit. It's an episode that kind of embraces and dwells in its silliness in a sense. That said, I think it's when you rewatch it knowing the end, which obviously we do after the first time I watched it, but this time I think we're both watching it in a different way. I felt there was a bit too much Beverly at the start. Her explanation is very long and very detailed, but I would rather have seen more stuff with, you know, Commander Data in red acting more human. I would rather, you know what I mean, other characters. And Beverly's great, but it's just like I don't need to watch 6 minutes of her explaining. And it really is like a long time. It's a large portion of the episode. And I guess it's to save money because it's the same set, I guess. But that didn't feel quite as good this time. It felt a bit long. I remember Data being it more, which is sad because he looks so powerful in red. I remember thinking at the time it was weird that Worf doesn't say anything really, even though he clearly was
just like hunched over the console.
Yeah.
And when Tomalak comes in, he's kind of like has this look on his face like.
But it's such a story there. Like there's some character there that you're not getting, and the Frank doesn't say anything, and there's definitely missed opportunities here.
Yeah.
That said, the Romulan reveal is excellent because the audience knows it's wrong, and then to double reveal is even cleverer. And I think the balance of giving Tomalak a good couple of minutes and then the end is like a solid 3 minutes is good. Although the kid is more interesting as Jean-Luc than as Ethan. And so at the end of the escape bit, you're left thinking, how long's left? Like, you can't quite commit mentally to the bit because, you know, there's only like 6 minutes left of the entire episode. Whereas when he's Jean-Luc, you can embrace it more. But I want to give credit to Jonathan Frakes playing Riker, who, I mean, could you even imagine the situation? You know, you cut back to your son in your 20s and you're like, oh yes, you've lost 16 years worth of memories, now accept you have 4 kids and a new wife and be okay today. I mean, he handles it like an absolute boss. I mean, the level of professionalism and calmness is absolutely incredible. Obviously, a lot of his stuff is still familiar. Like, he's not in a whole new town, a whole new place, but like, he doesn't think it's fake for a good portion of the thing. And so his professionalism is really astounding that he can keep it together. I just wish we saw more of the elements of Data and Picard and Tomalak. Those elements were really exciting and they were barely used. Luckily, John was used more, but that's kind of what I think. Now having watched this watch anyway, what do you think?
Yeah. I wish there was more of the other characters for sure, but it is very much a Riker-centric thing because he's the one that's in it. So I mean, even when conversations like continue off and like when Data and Tomalak are walking away to do the rest of the tour, and they go into the ready room, it's like they've already gone into the ready room, and we continue with this. It's like, would that actually still be going on? Because it's just focused on Riker essentially. But I would like to see more of them for sure. But yeah, seeing them all a little bit different. I do like Data in the red. It does look quite sharp, and we never see that again, I don't think.
My brain says it once, but only once, I think. Oh, in
I can't.
Parallels.
Oh,
I think
okay,
you see
yeah,
him in red there.
yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's nice. I mean, the amount of times we've seen Enterprise D bridge look different is astounding, considering. And just by painting little stripes and cleverly doing things, it's like it actually effectively just feels just a bit different. That said, the whole episode I'm thinking, why are they still wearing TNG uniforms? That's my only annoyance,
yeah.
conceptually, is that I don't believe that he would believe that 16 years have passed, plus the previous two, plus if you consider season one, they've had a good 35 years as uniform.
We get new uniforms every 5 years. What's going on?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, there's no way they could have predicted more uniforms. But if they'd done that,
Well,
have a whole new uniform, that would have been even better. Like, that would have been really cool.
well, that being said, I'm glad they didn't revert to the yesterday's Enterprise uniforms, which they could have done, which is an alternate future. But it's just I'm glad they didn't do that because they easily could have, and it would have been kind of like,
them,
So I'm kind of glad even if they took out the little dip here and just added it straight across as a collar, now
but
the
like,
pips aren't there.
Yeah.
I think would have been a small change that would have been very welcome.
Maybe like have that solid red too. Because Patrick has
Maybe
an extra bit of red. Yeah, maybe if you add a lip, so maybe the collar was now fully red, so the black is now a stripe. Because he has a stripe. That would have been another, like the opposite to yesterday's Enterprise. That could have been cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's the problem with these sorts of episodes. You know it's not real. It can't be. You know, it's hard to really fully commit to these because it's all fiction. So I'm impressed it does go for as long as it does.
Yeah.
It's like with the one with Voyager, the mirror non-mirror living witness. I mean, I want to see the Picardo stuff, but I also want to see the Voyager being evil stuff. That's really fun to see. You kind of want more of that, but you don't get it. But yeah, Super Chat, if you guys want to thoughts.
Oh, we got another Super Chat. 15 under 15. This is how we do it. Hashtag make Jeff pay. Good to have Jeff back. Good to see you. Thank you. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to super chat.
And guys, appreciate it. What did you think the bit at the start? Did you like it? Because had to rush that thing on. Didn't see that many comments about it, weirdly enough. But hope you guys like the bit at the start. Yes.
Nobody liked it. Nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed, even though well. So yeah, Riker's birthday, Stuart.
Well, they start out in the proximity of Romulan territory, so got to say that. And then yes, it's Riker's birthday, and he's trying to get this one note, and he just can't. And she's like, "Most things get better with age. Hopefully, your playing will be one of them." And even Geordi's reaction to the note, it's like, oh, it's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, good little birthday down in 10 Forward.
Well, I've wondered this a few times now, having rewatched it. So I'm assuming they're off duty because they're having a party, and a party on duty seems a bit odd, and yet they get called back to duty, which means they're on active duty, sort of, on standby duty. But then why are they all in full uniform if not on duty? Like, there's no line here, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I'm guessing maybe the idea of duty is like, maybe they stay in uniform all day, every day. There's no like off-duty uniform because it just is easier. Because I don't know.
I would imagine so. I mean, it's senior staff. When something goes down, they all get called to the bridge, regardless when it is. Pretty much. We do see them a lot of times in their pajamas or whatever and get called to the bridge. So
that's normally they're already in bed sort of thing. They've already committed to going to sleep. But obviously the people behind them are not in full uniform. Not all of them. Those could just be enlisted. But I like that. Maybe because they're senior officers, then standby mode.
And Ryan K makes a good point. Maybe they just came off a shift, which would make sense. We'll have your birthday down at 10 Forward when we're done the shift, Riker. Everybody's down there, and then Picard and Data come out and say, "We're going to miss this party. Like, we're done now. Let's head down there." So yeah, that I like that idea, Ryan.
You would think they would just go back to their quarters and change, like, does not take long, either which way. But that's good. I like that. But I don't think it can happen every time.
Yeah, 100 people watching, which is great, guys. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure you hit that like button. Let's get those likes up.
And what is this cake meant to be? Because we know the peptide cake.
Yeah. I have no idea. It's just got like a nebula pattern on it.
So it looks to me as if they're waves on the outside. It's kind of like foam in the waves, kind of like a, you know, a at sea cake, like a space sea. I don't know.
That's a good question. Well, yeah, or clouds.
Or clouds, yeah.
Yeah, not sure. Yeah. I love What Did You Wish For? Music
lessons, yeah.
Like them all having some fun. You know, they all have a good laugh, which is nice. It's genuine laughter too.
I was about to say it does feel genuine, which is nice. You can tell they're all friends.
Yeah.
Like it's without a doubt. And then you cut back to the bridge and they have birthdays. Fair enough, makes sense. And then you get one of those awkward line reads. This guy that's standing there, so odd. He's just like, we've detected a thing. Awful line read. I'm guessing he was like someone's son or someone's brother. They put him in an episode because he's bad.
This is how I would do it. Captain, I'm detecting some unusual fluctuations in subspace frequencies. There you go. See,
Yeah,
I did it better.
He's so it just stands out for being bad. I bet if someone's like, you know.
Picard's like, oh, we'd better take a look at it, Mr. Data.
Yeah.
But it turns out they're being probed, and sounds dirty. But it's coming from the third planet of the Alpha Onias system. So, and it is uninhabited, so it's worth pointing that out.
And I do like how quick we are to sort of the real plot. Pretty, you know.
Well, they mentioned right away it could be a secret Romulan base.
Yes.
Because there's rumors of a secret Romulan base in this sector, so it's like, could that be the one? And then he decides, well, you guys are going down for an away team, so he calls Riker, and Riker does his points at Worf and Geordi, and they're off. So.
Yeah, but the fact that, like, okay, they're being scanned, fine. He doesn't have to take Riker off his party now. He could wait an hour, 2 hours, half an hour.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to be abrupt. It's not like it was not an emergency thing. The planet's not going to go anywhere. It feels kind of mean. Like, they're obviously having a nice time, so they just went off shift. It's like right in the middle. 10 minutes.
Well,
just go down, see him, have a piece of cake, and then say, by the way, we should probably go. It just felt kind of rude. Like, unnecessary.
Yeah. I'd say report to the bridge and bring me a piece of cake.
Oh,
while I'm eating the cake on the bridge, I'd be like, so we're being scanned.
That would have been a good scene. Like, the next scene, just be eating it. Yeah. That'd
over there. And yeah. So there's a cavern 2 kilometers below the surface, which they suspect could be the Romulan base.
Romulans.
So they just decide to go down and check it out.
And have birthday. And it's, a little bit of cute there. And they beam down to a not great matte painting. Reason I say that is because it's really hard to paint darkness, and they haven't done it that great. It's okay, but it's obvious. And a couple ones they recently did were incredible. This one is definitely not as good.
It's a cool alien landscape, though. Like, I know it's a cave setting, but it looks really good.
Creatively, yes. Looking real, no.
That's what I meant.
Just they've done better recently. And then this scene's kind of odd. Like, I can't help but think it's the same Planet Hell set. Like, I can't, you know what I mean? Now I'm just seeing it as it's the same room with some smoke. Yeah. So it's not quite as creative as it used to be. And it's definitely longer this scene than I remember. It's a bit more drawn out. Considering how much there is in this episode, it's like, really?
I completely forgot how this episode started.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly. But it does seem longer than I recall for the beginning of this episode. But
and actually, not even the birthday plays in a part. Like, I just realised that. I was expecting him to be like, happy birthday, Dad. What? But there's no payoff to that.
Well, he doesn't come out of his coma on his birthday just 16 years later. He was in a coma for 10 days.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess I thought, yeah. Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, it's kind of funny. He starts with his birthday, and then all of a sudden he's literally 16 years older straight away. I think that might have been the thing they were going for. But
I think they probably should have started with eyes open, you're awake. Probably should have started there. Give us these extra 6 minutes of fun playtime.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Just like with Jake Sisko and the Visitor. Like, it starts at the start, so we get 100% of the episode. Not these things are bad, it's just the other stuff's better.
Yeah.
I think the transporter lady's back. She gets 2 episodes in a row with dialogue this time. Cool. Just note, because we made a note of that last episode, so she's in 2 in a row.
But yeah, they can't get a lock on. There's gas showing up on the planet. They need to get out of there, and they're having trouble communicating both ways. So they decide to beam up, but too much interference. And then we get like the transporter thing going on where it's not initiating on Riker, which is great visual actually.
Yeah, it's unusual. I still can't necessarily get behind that they don't have to freeze while beaming. I know that's not a thing anymore, but in my head it's always like they have to freeze, and so when I see them move, it's always like it's weird.
It's just TOS, man. Just
I know.
TOS.
I know. I still did it in my fan film just because I think it adds a bit of extra flair. If it's like if you feel the stop, but yes. But in the gas, no beam, and then wake up, and we get Ogawa. First appearance of Ogawa, which I had no idea was in this episode. Her first appearance is in the future, alternate universe. How did the boy design Ogawa so perfectly? Unless she was already on the ship.
Well, he didn't. It's the things in the cave, those sensors that are reading Riker's.
But I mean, she must have been on the ship already. We just didn't see her yet.
Oh, yeah.
It's just funny. Her first appearance is in an alternate universe flash.
I didn't know this was her first appearance. That's cool.
Well, we haven't seen her yet, so maybe not first filmed, but first actual chronological.
Bernard Francis, $5.
Thanks.
Thanks for keeping us all entertained during the pandemic. Hey, it's what we do.
You're welcome.
And I love how she's like, "Oh, like Beverly walks up to me. He's like, Beverly, oh, you remember me? That's good."
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If he only forgets the things that happened when since he got infected, well, of course he'd remember you regardless. So, but anyway. He's been in a coma for 10 days on the bio bed in his uniform. That bugs me too. They'd take his uniform off if he's there for 10 days. I'm pretty sure they'd put him in like a gown. Just saying.
True. Yeah, but also the kid doesn't know that. Like the kid and his he doesn't know everything. But no, you are absolutely right. And I think her saying though, do you remember, is more like do you remember anything? Are you there at all? You know, like there's different case scenarios, worst case, less worst case, and I like how I know that normally happens, but because the comm badge is so much bigger, it's so much more obvious on Beverly's. Like they have such an intentional choice to keep it under, so it's just like, look, new comm badge. Yeah,
well, actually that comes up later when she's talking to him. It's covered in a second, and then all of a sudden it's not covered. It's like, wow, just a small thing, but
easily done.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think we all like these bonus mirrors. Just cause, but they change the feel. Anything that changes the feel is good here.
They're cool displays though. I like that. I think that's cool.
I mean, they're obviously they're shinier than displays would be. I didn't even think they were displays, but yeah, you can see the way they're done. They should be displays.
Yeah, it's clearly a mirror.
Yeah, but dum. I kind of wish he had more grey. I'll be honest. It's subtle.
The thing I have a problem with gray is everyone has gray except I think Geordi.
Yeah.
Troy has gray. Worf has gray. Beverly has gray. Just little streaks. That's all they did. It's like it must be a future fashion statement thing.
I mean, is Geordi younger than all of them? I guess Deanna's older. Maybe young.
I think Geordi's the youngest out of them all, I think.
Well, because Deanna's his age, obviously Riker's age, because they dated roughly. Geordi must be, because Geordi was an ensign in the first episode. So obviously, yeah, he must be. But yeah, that did stand out to me. But I mean, you can't give everyone grey streaks. Doesn't really.
They did.
But I mean, like, yeah, but it should have been more.
Well, they should have had Geordi have like a goatee or something.
Yeah,
just something a little different. Although he looks great. He looks great without the visor. He's got those big emotive eyes. Like that's one of the great things about LeVar Burton. So, yeah.
Although it's kind of sad though. So 16 years. Frakes not this good 16 years later. It's always one of those things of like, oh.
Yeah, that's one of the issues when you watch, like even the Deadly Years in TOS. It's like, wow. What you thought people would look like old and how they turn out is way different.
Because you're not gonna put fat suits on them, but most people get fatter. Wouldn't that be great if Frakes walks up? So you can maybe 16 years older. Yeah, here's a fat suit. What? Oh, you're gonna get fat. Oh, the fat caption down. But it's effective enough. I mean, its stuff has changed, but not too much. You know, like even Beverly, she barely looks different. It's just a different hairstyle.
I love her hairstyle. By the way. I think
Yeah,
that's very nice.
and she's definitely acting softer as well. Like they all change their performances slightly, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but this is just a long scene of Riker and Beverly. It's a long scene.
Well, it's an exposition scene, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's just explaining to him what happened. What's the last thing you remember clearly? And he's like, Alpha and IS-3. The Enterprise had been probed, beamed down, and she said, "Well, that happened 16 years ago," and then explains that it's an Alterian virus, and they've kind of been expecting this to happen because I don't know if this is a real virus, because that'd be interesting if that was just made up for this. It could be, but so yeah, basically he went into a coma 10 days ago, and as a result lost all his memories to the point of just an infection. He was initially infected, and sometimes it comes back, sometimes not, as far as memories go. So yeah,
I mean, it's a good setup, obviously, but like I say, it's a lot of time for the bit. But I think it's to give you, it's to lull you into the full sense of, oh, this is real. It's like with Archer, well, no, it happened with Archer in the episode Twilight, where he loses all his memory, and then there's Future T'Pol, and they commit the entire episode to it because it was real, you know.
This could have been another clip show. You lost your memory for the past five years. Let's try to remind you of things that have happened. Remember that mission?
Remember when he defeated the Borg?
Remember when he tried to kill Picard? I mean, Locutus? I mean, what?
Yeah, there was Picard and Locutus in the same room. Remember when Wesley was a woman? Remember when that would have been ballsy. That would have been really good.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me sad now. Oh, that's annoying, because there's not even like, okay, so that would have made it a two-parter. I know we've said that a couple of times, but this would have been a better two-parter. Have it be real life, have it be partially a clip show, but only new clips, and then have him solve it at the end based on one of the clips, sort of thing. Like wouldn't it have been powerful if he has to say goodbye to his son? Like, this is I have to go back and stop something, timeline, blah blah blah. Goodbye, you may never exist, blah blah blah. Or if it was legitimately Minuet, because they could, she's a synth organic.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, when he recognizes Minuet, it's like, yeah, but 16 years have passed, dipshit. A lot happens in the course of like even 5 years.
Yep.
With technology. You got the Doctor, who's the sentient hologram. Could be that you got, although they couldn't retrieve Minuet's. He couldn't retrieve Minuet after the binars left anyway. So I guess that kind of makes sense. But I'm saying technology could have made it so that he could have Minuet. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's also probably kind of creepy. It's like you're inventing your wife based on a girl that you had a date with, and then making her have children. It gets into creepy territory, but
it's not a real person, though. She's a real person, so it's not like it's based on somebody else.
No, but it's creepy. That would be creepy. No, but it's creepy that he'd want to do that. It's like, just go find a real girlfriend. Imagine Troy be like, oh, I wasn't good enough. You had to use your ex-girlfriend hologram. Oh, I was right here. You could have asked on a second date. Jesus. But anyway, Beverly, long scene. It happens. Oh, someone asked what we thought of the what do you think of the badges with the badges are the pips on the collar with the lines rank? What do you think about that?
I like them. I think they look good. It only looks good in the higher ranks though, because when you've only got one line, it just looks dumb.
Yes.
The Admiral one, which we'll see in a minute, I was wondering how they're going to differentiate the Admiral one, because I forgot, and then I first see it, and it's gold. The Delta's gold with the silver stripes, and it's also got a star in it. But it is a first appearance. Like, they're supposed to be easily identifiable, like really quickly visually for rank. So yeah, the Admiral one is actually a different color. It's just the reverse colors.
Well, that said, I mean, the uniforms are dead giveaway. So
well, for an Admiral, yeah, pretty much.
But actually, you're right. This Klingon ensign has all black. So yeah, this is an ensign or unlisted. I mean, I didn't even notice that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's kind of cool. I wish they dwelled more on the Klingon ensign, although it's such a nice like throwaway moment. It's like, oh, hello.
Mm-hmm.
That lady was in 5 hours of makeup for a walk. Fun for her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We find out Geordi and Worf weren't affected. Geordi's apparently immune to this, and it doesn't affect Klingons. And he's like, speaking of Klingons,
yeah,
it's like, yeah, lots changed in 16 years. So that was a nice segue. It was really good.
And then we see Geordi, or in reality, we just see LeVar Burton. I mean, he's lost the Geordi, he's now just LeVar Burton. I do wish he'd been given more missed opportunity, but obviously, he talks to characters that know less. That's the whole point at the end. He can't ask technical questions to these guys because they don't know the answers. So if we had more Geordi scenes, it would be like you'd sense it more. I think,
Yeah. Well, one thing I forgot to mention was that the turbo lift. Beverly said deck 8 to go to his quarters.
Yes.
And he belayed the order and said main bridge, and there was like that pause and oh yeah, we're having problems with one of the information accelerators, or whatever they called it. And then it goes to the main bridge. So I love that it takes a second to figure out what's going on. And can't really predict. That's why I wonder sometimes if my life is like a simulation, because sometimes my computer takes longer to do something. It's like, did you expect me to do that, computer? No, you didn't. My life's a simulation.
It's kind of like the Truman Show, which I think is a phenomenal movie where he's going off, and it's just like, then you suddenly opens the elevator and there's people at craft services eating a pastry. It's like, what? Close the door. So yeah, why the hell would he go out of his own building into a different building and into another? You can only do the illusion so far. And I think as a conceit, it's such a cleverly done one. That said, it can only exist for so long. I don't know what the kid's long-term plan was, because you couldn't...
Yeah.
Like, it's a very short-term problem.
I was going to bring that up later when it turns into the whole Romulan simulation. How long can you play that out, kid? And how, like... Yeah.
We'll get there. But it's a great gimmick at the start. I think as a first-time watcher, it's incredible. Like, it's so clever. But yeah, you're just like, okay.
So Geordi here has cloned eyes, so actual real eyes. They're just cloned. They're not like the mechanical replacements he gets in the movies, because people are saying in the chat there that they gave him contacts for the movies. But yeah, it's a different technology. Because I like the eyes in the movie better, because they still keep the way he can see things and keep his speciality that way. So,
yeah, they're also an advancement. I mean, it took technology that long to get there, and he got there. Then we get those lovely side consoles, and
I love them.
We get very odd Worf. I don't know what the hell his direction was, and boy, you really see that he's a wrong choice to be piloting the at con, I guess. Like, he's too big, he's too bulky, he's obviously not comfortable. Like, why would you give a security guy that job? Like, this is not the correct job for him.
Well, after Data died in most toys, he was going to be taking over that station, because it's just the third in command, essentially.
And I complained at the time as well.
I know, but I'm saying at least they held true to that.
Yeah.
So they respect their own canon, which is a good thing. Area 51, $5. Riker, I think I'll go follow and investigate that Klingon ensign in her quarters, in her bedroom, to jog my memory. That's awful.
Oh my! And we get Frank against.
I was gonna say, I love the additions to the bridge, the side consoles, the stripes on the turbo lifts look great. I don't know why they didn't keep that. The thing behind the captain's chair, the detail that's there, looks fantastic. Like, it's a better looking bridge, in my opinion, than.
It feels busier, and that's the point. They couldn't change, but they could add. But yeah, I mean, it's very effective. The Ferengi's good, although his head looks very disconnected from his body. Like, he's got a very thin frame and yet massive head. You know what I mean? Doesn't for whatever reason, like, they should have picked a bulkier guy or something. And it's obviously they're not like a hero version of the prop, because he doesn't move really. It kind of feels like they can only do so much, but he doesn't say anything. It kind of feels awkward. Now I'm wondering, I got the sense that when he talks to Data, he gave a little more humanness in his expressions, a smidge. But I was kind of expecting him to play it off as like, Mr. Data, you're talking so much more human. Well, yes, sir. It's been 16 years. I've learned. Like, play on that. That would have been another opportunity to show him be more human, like in all good things.
And that's later too, when he says, "I can't operate as quickly." Maybe in 16 years he's been able to do contractions.
Patch 1.3 took a little while, but he got that again, missed opportunity there. But hey, great in red.
Yeah. But anyway, Romulan bird of prey. Warbird shows up and decloaks. And he's like, "Shields up, red alert!" And everybody's like, "What? No, we were expecting the Decius."
Idiot.
Yeah. And he's like, "Cancel red alert. Obviously, I'm going to need to be briefed, Mr. Data."
But they can't blame him. It was muscle memory reaction. He wasn't thinking, he was reacting. But can you imagine, though, Picard on the bird of prey, Warbird, decloaks, and then he's like, someone yells to him, "Admiral, they're locking weapons." What? You know, because I'm sure it's part of automatic red alert, you know, like senses start sensing. It's just like, "What the hell are you doing, Will? Admiral?" But yeah, Admiral and Deanna. Romulan ship. The plot thickens.
And a cool little model of a warbird on the desk. Which, this is weird too, because he arrives on the Decius, beams over, talks to Will, then Tomalak beams over, and Tomalak says, "Hello, Captain, Ambassador, or Admiral, good to see you again. Were you just not on the same ship? Were you not maybe having conversations when you..."
Well, you know, it's been 2 hours. Yeah.
I guess.
And besides, you're not necessarily going to hang out with them the whole time. Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with that. Besides, big ship, Stuart. Might have had quarters the opposite ends, and they're literally not seeing each other in, 4 weeks of travel. It's just like, Tomalak, I never bumped into you once. I know, it was weird, wasn't it? It's a big ship you've got. I know. Yep. Wait until you see the Valdors. I like how abrupt Picard is. It's like they don't go into too much extra detail when they're processing. Like, you can tell the computer doesn't know why the Romulans are here yet. And so Picard's like, "Okay, we'll see you in a minute, bye." Oh, okay. To give him more time to process,
I never thought about that. That's interesting, yeah.
There's a few of those little moments where it's not as, forthright as it could be.
Beverly says to him, "I'm going to let the Admiral tell you all about it."
Yep. Subtlety in the nuances of the story.
Yep, and Chief O'Brien's not there, so it's kind of good thing, I guess, that he got promoted after 16 years. But yeah, it's kind of odd that they're doing this treaty, and they know he's been in a coma for 10 days, but they still show up, and Picard's like, "Good to see you've recovered." There's a lot of things that are odd here. Well, it could just still be because Riker's the one guy that you want talking to the Romulans, as he says later. If anybody can do it, you can. So it just seems odd that it's like we're hoping that he's fine by the time we get there. I don't know.
I mean, I got the sense, and I wish they'd said. I was waiting for one line where Picard says, "Look, Will, the work's been done. You just have to sign the line. Dotted line. That's all you have to do. Just be there, smile. We've done the hard work." Because he can't negotiate, but he can still be there as the face of the negotiations. I wish they made that a bit more clear, because then it's just
Yeah. And it should be said too that this is the Picard series we wanted, where Picard is still Picard.
Yep.
The longer hair is a little bit odd looking, but the facial hair looks good.
Yep. He looks excellent as an admiral, and he has a great looking uniform. Like, it's weird, it's cool, it's different. Good touch to give him the uniform. Yeah, this is what we'd hoped for. And he even talks different. He's softer. He does act different. It's interesting.
But we find out that the Enterprise, under Riker's command, saved a Romulan ship that 4 years ago, straight into Federation space, had collapsed warp coils, and the Enterprise saved them. The Romulans were impressed, so they wanted to... spent 4 years now working out this treaty, and we're going to be at peace with the Romulans. So, I was going to read James McGill's real quick. James McGill, $5. This episode has the opportunity to be retrofitted where Riker is in command with USS Titan. Be nice to see different bridge interior and perhaps Picard uniforms. That'd be interesting. Bernard Francis, $5. This has always been an interesting episode for me. I both love it and have problems with it. So I just love it. The problems are easily explained away as this alien or the technology not... Because it's pulling all this from Riker's mind. It's just like what Riker almost expects to see 16 years later. So I can explain away a lot of the issues just by that.
Well, there's also a few moments that I like because they challenge Riker. Like, this isn't the sort of fantasy where everything's going well, which would make you think something's wrong. The fact that he's being forced into this crappy situation, it's like, who would invent this? Who would design this?
Yeah.
You know, and I'll point out the moment when that happens, but it's just a very like feels tangible situation. I mean, it sucks, but it's an interesting situation. Although as soon as they said about the story about the Romulan warbird going to Federation space, I got his Enterprise parallels. All it took was one ship to be help to start the peace accords. So I kind of like that slight parallel. Not that I think saving one to Deredex would be enough to do anything, really. Like, unless it was like pro-chancellor's ship. And I almost don't buy this scene how much Riker's like, no. I like that he's saying no as much as he is. It shows he's got a lot of like fortitude of like, come on, what are you doing? But
even Picard says, I appreciate your candor, Will.
Yep.
So,
but the way Picard's like, he's basically saying, mate, sorry, this is your duty though. So I like that little back and forth. It's almost too far, but again, it's pushing him. And I think whenever he's thinking about what's happening, he's forced into a situation and forced him into this pretty big situation when he keeps his mind off his world. So.
So they just have to go to Starbase 23 with the ambassador and sign the treaty, and it's done.
Now I really wish they'd said at this moment, Starbase 23, like set it up then, because I don't even think anything of 23 until they mention later is an important thing. But that'd be the moment he would be confused, surely.
Well, they don't mention it here. They mention it when the ambassador Tomahawk beams on board and they're walking through the hallway, and he says, we'll be going to Starbase 23.
So they mention a starbase, but not the starbase.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it ends with, let's go to your quarters, or I'll take you to your quarters. And he's like, good idea. I've had enough surprises for one day. And they actually played it through where when he walks away, she kind of has that look on her face like, oh, you're in for the biggest surprise yet.
Yeah. And it's such a line. It's like, oh, man. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, we go into the captain's quarters, that set. Subtlety, but yeah, it is the captain's quarter set. Which is the same set as every other set, but the full version of the set. Which is a nice little touch. Differently furnished, and yeah, he sees his trombone, and oh my god!
And there's some ear-splitting sounds coming from the room.
Hi, Dad!
Hi, Dad. And look, Riker's face, he's like, looks at Troy. Yeah. My god. That's terrifying.
But that said, I think good casting for looks a bit like him.
Oh, this kid's great. This actor's great. I'd like to see what he looks like now, actually. I should have looked that up.
Probably very similar, because he looks a very sort of distinct face.
Yeah.
But I like how he's playing the trombone badly. Yeah, that's the first time he's ever played it. Because he's an alien. You know what I mean? Like, that, I would love that to have been a little, like, you're still very good, are you? So, thanks, Dad. But it's like, my first time as an alien.
And I noticed the path when they first walked in, but it plays out here because it's a school project, and he's looking for his pad and finds it.
Yes, looking for your pad, which is right there, obvious. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't see it. Where is it?
Yeah. He's doing a project on the Fornax disaster, where the Enterprise saved the colonists from the supernova. And he asks him for the start date, and Riker doesn't know. And he's like, the kid's like, wait, you don't remember me, do you? It's good. And the kid's a good actor, I gotta say. But we find out the kid's name is Jean-Luc, because Troy says, like, I need to talk to your father, Jean-Luc. And there's no reaction from Riker at that point. It's later that happens, but I'm like, this kid does not look like a Jean-Luc. I'm sorry. Should have called him JL. He's a kid.
Yeah, I think the John Luke was a little one step too far. Like Jean would have been enough. You know, something.
But JL would have been perfect to call a kid. JL, Jean-Luc. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah. I know, like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, he's good. Oh, like, I need to talk to your father separately. Give us some privacy. Now let's walk 4 foot away in earshot. It's like, guys, there aren't doors apparently. Like, this is not very far away. You can hear everything you're saying. I hate the look of him. Oh, Dad, get over there! I can hear you. Do it.
This is good. He's like, why didn't you warn me? And I like the explanation.
Yep.
Dr. Crusher thought it'd be good to maybe have that shock to your system, to maybe kick in some things. I think that's great. I think that's a great way to do it. But
no, it's nice. This episode takes it so seriously, the bit, and it feels very tangible.
So we find out the Admiral was very pleased when he picked that name, and then he asks about who's the mother, and she died 2 years ago in a shuttle accident. And of course, he's got no recollection of her. That would really suck, by the way. Asked what she was like, and Deanna says, well, Min was beautiful, of course, strong, intelligent, patient. He's like, well, she was married to me. She had to be patient. Find out, too, she was the ship's counselor, and she replaced Deanna after she left because Picard offered her a position at Starfleet, and she's just too good to pass up. Because he says, I didn't think you'd ever leave the Enterprise. So, I mean, it's really well set up. I mean, even on the Titan, she's the counselor, and she's also married to the captain. So, it's not unheard of to have captain and counselor married, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just believable, and it's a well thought out little story, you know. But it's like these scenes are fine, but they could have been much more interesting scenes, you know. Like, it almost would have been great to actually have them get to the starbase and him being in command and Data's next to him, and you know, they could have done some really much more fun stuff with it. But it's a character piece, isn't it? It's all from Riker's perspective. It's very personal. It's very introspective, and he plays it tremendously. You know, he's underacting almost everything. Yeah. And you're thinking, what is he really feeling? You know, because he's the captain. He can't let people see his true feelings, because that's not what a captain does. Has he seen Jean-Luc? Yes, he has. Like, as soon as he knows he's the captain, he's thinking, well, what did Picard do? He didn't let anything through. You know, got to be that sort of stoic, commanding presence. Yeah.
Well, then he goes in the next room and tells his sons he's a bit shit. That's playing the trombone.
Yeah.
And he still can't get that note that he was doing at the beginning right. And I love how he says, I can't believe I still don't have that right after 16 years. It's like, okay, you lost your memory.
Yes.
You would assume that you'd lose that knowledge that you might have gained in 16 years for playing it. You literally just did it earlier in the day. That badly.
I mean, there's muscle memory. He should be better, but he would not remember the nuance. You know, I absolutely agree. And also, one more thing about the Deanna scene. I kind of wish, I was waiting for the moment he says, is he our son? Oh, no. Like, I know she's off with Picard, but would you not assume first, like the way how tender Deanna's being? Would you not ask that question? I know he doesn't say "Mom," fine, whatever, but or why was he wondering why did we never get together? You know, I kind of wish that was slightly addressed. But it also shows that at this point Riker didn't want Troy, because it could have been Troy. You know, Troy could have been the wife, and Troy could have died, and etc. etc.
And they've each had love interests throughout the course of this 7 seasons too. Like, they're not actively interested in each other right now. They're friends.
Yes.
So it does develop, of course, for the
it's just like with Beverly, when, you know, alternate Picard hits on her to the point of we should try something. She's like, I'm comfortable being friends. It's like, oh, well, okay then. She committed to not committing.
But he goes and asks for the service record of himself, beginning with the Fornax disaster, and of course the computer lags, and the kid has to come in and help.
Because as soon as he says, "Oh, now it's working," it's working. That's a weird timing.
I want to read the whole screen now, though.
But don't you wish, though, they'd mentioned about the Horgon? Because he's got a sex idol next to his main computer.
Ooh, yeah. Stardate 47283. Granted promotion to the rank of captain. Assigned command of Starship USS Titan. It's in here, too.
Yeah, I know they remastered this, so they were able to tweak things.
Yeah, I just want to read all that. It's just like 2 pages of it, but
2 pages of it, is it?
Yeah, it scrolls through 2 pages.
Oh yeah.
There's some good stuff in there, actually.
Jean-Luc Picard's promoted to Commander of Starfleet Academy. Didn't we hope for that in Star Trek Picard as well?
Yes, we did. Yeah, and he has a Horgon.
The Axanar Conference. It says nice, the Axanar Conference. Wow, they put that back in. That's hilarious. But
Jason Quillanton says the Horgon on his desk. Yeah, I noticed that too. Nice touch.
I mean, it makes sense.
Assigned at command of the Enterprise D, succeeding Captain Jean-Luc Picard, who had been promoted to... Oh, you already read that, sorry. Space operation. There you go, so he's Titan Captain here too.
And then he got the D after that.
Well, the Titan will get you the D.
Speaking of, Tomahawk. the big T. And obviously I wish we'd seen more of him, and because he's nice in this episode, he doesn't quite have the same power. Like, he works as a slimy sort of guy, and you're like, wait, what? But Riker is really to him, and I know that they threatened to kill you once and was mean a second time, but that happens lots of times with lots of people, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when he's walking through the corridor and very brightly lit, that costume design does not hold up. Like,
yeah,
it's great from a distance if they're not moving, but the way he walks, you see these massive, like, that must have been an awful costume to wear, comfortability-wise. Like,
yeah,
just not a good looking. It looks design-wise good, but like the Nemesis ones are much better. Same idea, refined. Yeah.
And here's where it says, as soon as we arrive at your outpost 23, the final negotiation should go quickly. After much debate, they've settled on things that both sides are happy with, so that's good. And he even says, Commander Riker is such a good diplomat that even the Ferengi should avoid him. But yeah, new alliance will benefit my people. And of course, Tomahawk is asking him about the virus and whether he's fully recovered, which during delicate negotiations, I'm wondering if that would really be mentioned. I don't know.
Well, you get the sense that they're genuinely quite casual. Like, they've been doing these things for years. Like, they've had lots of drinks outside of it. He's asking because he's concerned. That's why it's odd. Yeah. Either he knows too much, or he's being nice. Both are weird. And that's why it's kind of a fun scene. Like, he's not playing it to be mean. Yeah. I kind of wish there was more of a... If he was really Tomahawk, there would be a different inference to these lines. It's because he knows at this point he's playing nice Tomahawk, not evil Tomahawk, playing nice Tomahawk. I don't think there's many levels there. There could have been. Yeah.
But we got on the bridge. He's like, so this is the bridge of the Enterprise. And I love Worf's, like, just slumped over.
Looks like a caveman. It's weird.
Yeah, like you said, I want to know what direction he was given. Just look uninterested and like you don't want to be there.
Because you don't.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's like, hey, I got to talk to you guys in the ready room. Data, can you continue the tour for the ambassador? And then we find, Data even says, our newly refined sensors are capable of pinpointing emissions of even a cloaked warbird at warp. Just an interesting side note.
Although they obviously detected them earlier in a previous episode anyway. I know they were doing
yeah.
odd things, but they've never been the most hard thing to detect sometimes. It varies. It varies.
This is where Riker yells at Picard, saying, "You've always said it's a game of chess with the Romulans. Move, counter-move, guile, and deceit."
Yeah.
And
We'll also
Picard's
know...
got that look on his face like, what the hell is wrong with you? Yeah.
Well, it's a hard scene because from their point of view, well, it's like it'd be as if someone went back to someone from Kirk's era was in TNG, and they were like, "You're not friends with the Klingons. They just killed colonies. That was 80 years ago." Yeah, but you can't trust them. No, we can though. Mostly, like you can imagine, and obviously in the context, Troy. I mean, they just hung up Tomahawk maybe for a while. Troy sensing nothing. I mean, there's nothing to worry about, and so the reaction is quite strong. What I was going to say is that I like if they put enough effort into redress the ready room. They've now got the Nebula variant, the Apollo capsule. That's kind of cool, and a open crystal thing at the back. So it's nice.
Yeah.
You know, they're different paintings. So everything is different, but the same room.
I'm wondering if that ship's supposed to be the Titan. You don't know if the Titan was mentioned in before the remaster.
No, that was a remaster thing.
Oh, was it?
Well, I think that's the Melbourne one. I think if they go by the registry of the miniature.
Oh, really?
I think so. Because obviously it had a registry, so because it's an Eaglemoss model, you can buy it now.
Oh, well, there you go.
But yeah, it's a good little scene. Although that now you start to get the difference in he is buying it, but he just won't accept it, and it's hard to kind of like the world's starting to fracture because he just won't accept his reality.
Yeah, the thing that he's stuck on is really in the location of Outpost 23, because it's key to all the defenses in the neutral zone. And Picard's like, "No, I'm sorry. Well, your information's out of date. You know, but it's of minimal importance now."
But I love that counter. It's like, dude, over 15 years. Sorry, like everything is so logical here. Yeah, it's just so committed to the bit. But as Riker started to question and be a bit, oh my god, your son has hurt himself.
There's a lot of that. Whenever something's coming to a realization, there's always something else comes up to distract you. Yeah.
I'll be honest, we didn't need more sick bay scenes. We had already too many. I know this is meant to bond them. And I like his line about, well, how young were you? Okay, younger. Yeah. So I get it. He sees himself in him. That's great. But it's like also that he just left the crew quarters, so I guess his son went from trombone straight to the gym and got injured with 15 minutes of his dad. You know what I mean? It seems oddly timed.
Well, you got to think of it from the kid's point of view. If this was real, let's say, his dad doesn't remember him at all. They say it later that how hard is it for him, losing his mom and now his dad essentially, and so the kid might be a little frustrated and want to burn off some steam. So go play a sport like Precy Squares. I mean, that might be what the thing was.
I love that. I love that. I just wish it wasn't as peppy a happier son. That would have been perfect if that had been the performance. That's perfect.
Yeah.
And
he broke his wrist playing Parisi Squares, just so you guys know.
And the way he brings him down is such like he's been injured, but it's just like it's like a cut that you can put a plaster on in these days. So I took it as more of a, he's been injured. Go, punish your son now, please. Because the injury means nothing, you know. It's more about what are you gonna do, Mr. Riker. Yeah.
No, but you're right. The one part where she says, "How old were you when you started playing Precy Squares?" He's like, "Probably younger than him." I love that.
So cute.
Because as a parent, you're like that. You're like, "What the? Why are you doing that?" And then you think back to when you were that age and shit. I was doing shit at that age that my parents never knew about. So, yeah, it's funny when you're a parent. It changes the perspective of this episode for sure.
When he says, "Beverly, you gotta remember, it's my first day being a parent."
Yeah. For all practical purposes, it's my first day being a father.
It's great.
The kid almost kills himself.
It's great.
He didn't almost kill himself.
Yeah, it is great. The episode wants to have its cake and eat it too, but only gets halfway through the cake before it slices it out, and it's just like, well, you could have, have a smaller cake and go all the way through,
Yeah.
But it's cute. It's cute though.
Yeah.
They have a good little rapport actually.
And they have a nice moment in the turbo lift where it's like, I know this is hard for you, and Kid's like, it's okay, Dad. He's like, no, my father was never there when I was your age. I want to be there for you. And then they have a nice hug.
Well, I was kind of expecting Riker doing this heart-to-heart. I was expecting Jean-Luc to say, yeah, I know, Dad, you've told me this before. Of course I have. You know what I mean? Like, 16 years, he would have heard all the stories. I was waiting for that, but it's okay. That would have been too gimmicky. But I think, you know, if my dad forgot everything and told me stories, I'd make a little joke out of knowing the ending to his stories, just kind of show, you know, I listened. You know? Small thing.
Tomalak is nice in Riker's head, question mark. Puts in $2. Why is Worf a broken, grumpy man in Riker's head? Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's a good point.
Underserved like Geordi and Data. Oh.
Maybe it just shows how he really feels about these other friends of his.
I mean, my assumption straight away goes to he got the scar in a battle that his friends easily could have helped him with, and therefore he came back. He's never been the same again because it was a really unnecessary situation, and so he's more bitter because of that. And he's stuck never firing torpedoes. I would be pissed by that if I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's issues that come up between these two later in the series, like with Deanna, but it's like last episode, the jealousy thing. But I don't think it's an issue here. But anyway, Eugene throws in 300 rubles.
Thank you.
Tomalak, as head on a view screen, is much more menacing and enigmatic. Also, Andreas Katsoulis was not comfortable with appearing in full bodies, so he didn't until All Good Things.
Yeah, I just read that as well. He didn't like it. He said, I only want to be a dude on a screen, so only write me in as a dude on a screen. That is weird. What a waste. I mean, I guess because it wasn't really him. If he was really given the full time to be a character, but he didn't do much with the performance. He's quite plain, because he's not the hero or the villain. He's just there. Whereas on the screen, he's the focus. Everything is acting. So I get that. But, I mean, it's, you know, great to have him, but it wasn't his best episode.
Yeah. Then we get the stupid Curtis Creek program fishing thing, and
I like that. It's cute
trying to build the father-son thing. That's fine.
Yeah.
And the stupid story about how he fell in, and Mom fell in, and then you fell in trying to save us.
Because this is a fun story, Dad, isn't it? Yes, son, fun story. That was there. That was less good. That was his worst bit of acting, I thought. That non-interesting story, the way he says it, is just not good.
Well, the way he did and you tried to pull us out, it just doesn't.
He's acting. Yeah. He's not telling a story.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he gets like soppy music, and he's like, "Well, let's look at some records." And then you're left thinking, "Sorry, what is filming this? Why is there shaky cam?"
Yeah, and they even wave at it at one point. That being said, with the mask, where the kid comes out in the mask and he pulls the mask off, that's one of those hard plastic masks, right? Like the ones we used to have for Halloween. You can hardly breathe through the freaking things. And he goes to take it off his face, and it snaps back and hits the kid in the face. I'm like, oh my God, I know how that feels, and that hurts. But the kid just laughs right through it, which is fine. I thought that was funny. Sorry.
You didn't even notice that, yeah. But it's such odd clips. Like, it's nice, although I wish he looked younger. I wish it was a different actor. I wish it was like a 6-year-old or a 4-year-old. That would have helped. Yep. Rather than just they filmed the scene before. That's always a conceit, but I wish that would have been. That's fine though.
No, I totally agree. And
then we get the fun gimmick of the computer's not working, and I still appreciate that Riker believes it. So his frustration is real, but he's not gonna he trusts his crew. This is still just that point of whatever.
And then the kid has to come out and help with the computer yet again. So the kid is pulling up the stuff that he wants.
But Dad, didn't you look at a specific star date? Like, well, no, I don't remember any of the star dates. You little shit. Like, it's such a stupid comment, though, isn't it? Really. Like, what star date would I pick? There isn't one. You idiot. I don't remember any of them. But then he calls for the star date, and again, shaky cam. Someone's filming this. It shouldn't have been there. I don't know how you could have filmed it without that. I wish the mum was behind the camera the entire time, like the doctor was later, and then she'd like moved it and was in it.
Or you see her reflection or something.
Yeah.
Because he sees her with the cake.
Yes.
Put the cake down. He smiles. They have their little group hug. The kid blows the candles out, and then they wave at the camera, which zooms in, and then he's like, "Don't Min." It's like you didn't recognize her before that.
Well, no, I'm fine with that for the second, because your brain wouldn't go to, it must be a holiday explanation from 23 years ago. Like, he knows she's familiar. That's what he's getting. Familiar. I can't place her. It must be a woman I loved, I was married. But as soon as he's just thinking. It takes him less than a minute. Give him credit.
It would take me faster than that, for sure. Any woman that I've been interested in, real or fake, I'd recognize.
I just think it's hard to represent. Hard to think about how much he's processing this. And also, doesn't he in this flashback have fully black hair, even though his son's the same age as he is now? Like, I'm pretty sure he's not in old age makeup, even though his son's the same age.
He's got a little bit of gray. A little bit right here. Not as much as he does now, but there's a touch of it.
Okay, yeah, he's a little... I mean, that's too subtle. Too subtle. And hey, they brought Minuet actress back with shorter hair, in less sexy a dress, for one shot. At least they did that, though. It's a real actress who came back, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never noticed to this watch, but they do explicitly say Troy says to him, "Oh, Min was great. Min was beautiful." You miss it so easily, but they do say Minuet. Mm-hmm. They say it. I never noticed it before.
Yep. Jason Moe puts in $5. The Minuet reveal is honestly pretty great, especially getting the original actor back. But what I wouldn't have given for Mistress Beta instead. Oh, Mistress Beta from Angel 1. I think that's who he's talking about. Mistress Beata.
Yeah. I mean, it's the camera out to the face zoom recognition, I guess, but it feels so shaky. It should have either been like very clinical, or how about be like another child? Wouldn't it have been cool if it was like an older daughter who
that died in the shuttle accident with the mom?
That, or who works on another starship, like just someone else, someone. I'm sure you know. But yeah, but boy, I love the shift in Riker. Like, it is an instant. And what's great is that the kid is unaware. He's like, "What's up?" And Riker's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And he's so oblivious because he hasn't thought this through. I love that disparity of acting. It's pretty great.
But then, Captain, please come to the bridge. Again, another distraction when something goes wrong.
Another distraction. Yep.
We get Riker Geordi doing the had to shut down the warp engines now. And antimatter containment was fluctuating. It's nothing to worry about, though. Riker's like, "Really? We're on the edge of the neutral zone and it's nothing to worry about? You're not concerned?"
Yeah.
Like, you track down that faulty processing accelerator. I'm running level 1 diagnostic for 30 hours. It would never take you more than 4. You're incapable of that level of incompetence, Mr. LaForge.
And boy, the anger on Geordi's face, given these a simulation, is so palpable. It's like, I love that. I love that. And this is one of the best moments of the episode.
Yeah, I have this clip. On my phone for an MP3 or 4, whatever that. It's MP3. So it's one of my tracks that comes on in my car sometimes.
Yeah.
So Worf, where did you get that scar? In combat. What battle? When? Which sector? Which unit?
Who did you kill? What does blood taste like? How aroused were you? What was Alexander doing? Yeah, what colour was the sky? What was your next meal? Where was your last shit? Come on! God damn it, Captain. Sorry.
It's okay. Mr. Data, if we left immediately, when would we arrive at Outpost 23? There's quite a pause.
There is.
At Warp 1, 3 days, 4 hours. What about Warp 7? What about Warp 8? Warp 9? What's the matter, Data? What happened to those millions of calculations per second? Pardon me, sir. I'm experiencing subspace interference, which limits my abilities. I can't operate as quickly as... What did you say? I said I cannot operate as quickly. No, that's not what you said. You said I can't. You used a contraction, didn't you? Sir, I can explain if you just give me... No, you can't. Don't even try. It's fucking great.
The
And then
momentum is brilliant in the scene.
yeah, the build up, yeah, exactly. And then again, another distraction comes on because you got Tomahawk and the Admiral come on, and it's like, shut up! I beg your pardon. I said shut up, as in close your mouth and stop talking. It's great. It's fantastic. It's all falling apart like a house of cards at this point. And it just the program or the thing can't keep up. So,
which as a simple concept for why, is genius. I mean, it is. It really is genius. Like again, I wish that Michael Dorn was given more than just to stare blankly. He's not well served here. Brent's trying.
No.
But why the hell do you start with warp 1? Come on. Like already that's a red flag. You idiot.
Bernard Francis, $5. I loved this scene. Great acting. Yeah, this is fantastic.
And the fact that everyone
Deanna,
looks different.
back off.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
But just the fact that the bridge is different, the costume's different, the hair's different. It's so alternate. Yeah. Brilliant.
And great acting on Frakes' part, by the way. Well, would anyone else like to speak up, or shall we end this charade?
And then we get not the best really green screen. Yeah, it's just because Andreas is just the wrong colour. But obviously, it's a double green screen. He's not on the other set either, and he's colour balancing for the other set. But yeah, it works. Although, I think Frakes is pretty well done, just Andreas is not well done. And here we get our first look at a Romulan holodeck, which is a cool little set.
Is it, though? Yes. Has Riker seen one? Does he know what they look like? Or is this what he imagines they might look like? It is a very cool, big holodeck room, though. Even with a little control tower up at the top. I love that. It's really good. Really good.
And that's a lot of effort to make this little... It's a miniature, obviously, but it's a cool little... Yeah, and then we get Undone Age. And as a transition, that's flawless. The fact that he's just sitting down in the same place is very well done.
Gets his pips back and his real comm badge.
Yeah. And I'll call it later. Yeah, keep going.
But yeah, he's asking how they did this, how they replicated the Enterprise with the help of neural scanners in what you would call a holodeck.
Yeah.
But yeah, how'd you figure it out? Our future should have been convincing. It wasn't. There was a computer lag for one thing. Unavoidable. Yep. Limited response time. Fine. It's fine with that. But surely that was not enough to smash your house of cards. Or to, Anyway. It was his wife, Minuet. Bad move.
Yeah, it's...
I love how he said, we chose somebody that meant something to you that was still alive. A woman that you're extremely attracted to.
Well, basically, they did a keyword search in his brain. Still woman, love, still alive. Because technically she didn't die. She was never alive. Just the wrong keyword search. Yeah. No, it's good. And I think at this point, the audience is fooled. Because again, they fully commit to the new bit. Oh. Stu, I don't know. Where did you... There you're back.
I'm back. And it's funny because you talk to a lot of people about this episode, and a lot of them think it was a Romulan holodeck simulation. They forget about the alien. And it just goes to show, like, the first chunk of the show, like, there's the first chunk, which is like a couple minutes. Then you get this main chunk. Then you get the Romulan chunk, and then you get the alien chunk at the end. It's split up really funny. And this was the most impactful thing, was this. The alien at the end is kind of forgettable, honestly. But anyway.
I mean, were you convinced? I don't know if you can remember back, but...
I thought this was a great way to get information out of them. I thought it was definitely the Romulans.
And it's perfectly set up. I mean, they've already assessed it. I do wish, though, that they gave Tomahawk an extra scene or two, and he gave it more menace. Just like a little bit of extra. But again, take out the first 8 minutes, redistribute that to commit to the bit more. Like, it would have been kind of funny if the bit Minuet was the first hint, but he plays along to see what's he's trying to work out what's happening. And they get Starbase 23, and he doesn't know what it looks like. So there's this weird Starbase that's like they can't think of a design, so it's this garbage non-design, or it's like Kit Bash, or it's like K7 or something. It's like, what is this? Or like he mentally tries to think of what it, like he invents a new design that makes no sense. You know, like he tricks the algorithm. Like is Earth space dock, even though Earth space dock shouldn't be there. Oh la. Small things, but you know.
Yeah. Jeff Jacobs, $2. Yes, we hit the century mark. 150 next. Hashtag make Jeff pay. Like Spike. Yeah, guys, 150 of you here, which is awesome. So hit that like button. Let's get those likes up. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Hopefully you're enjoying.
Hopefully. Now the only I'll have a criticism here that these Romulan sets look a bit naff. I like that it's the same hollow grid. That's cool, but they're poorly painted. They're okay lit. The fact they're not bright helps, but these are not good looking sets. Like they're passable at very best. You know?
See, I would disagree with you. I really like them. I like the blue lighting. I like the big Romulan symbol on it. Like they really went all out for it. I never noticed the painting really, but
like it looks like a cheap fan film or indie film. There's nothing here that says expensive. The Romulanisms, yes, but it just feels like a cheap set to me. I like the chair though.
Well, I think the wall lighting makes it look more impressive.
Yeah,
that really helped out.
Yeah. I guess
otherwise,
it's just that pan. I think just that pan, just cheap looking corridor. You know,
and the chair with the stupid like.
It's cool. Whatever. Why not?
Drainage. Tubes. Oh my god.
Where's his face? Heated seats. You know.
Oh yeah.
And I like Tom Locke here. He's almost right. You know, he's still a bit off kilter, but he's almost menacing enough. He's more matter of fact than menacing, so it kind of works.
The other thing is, I don't know why Riker's holding on to the side of the chair. It just looks odd. If he had been bound, like if there's something like around his wrist, possibly, but
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So the reason they didn't just scan his brain for the information for Outpost 23 is because scanners are calibrated to Romulan brain patterns, and humans are less efficient. So they had to go through this extravagant thing.
Well, he said our scans were incomplete, and Riker's like,
gaps in the information. Yeah,
incomplete. You replicated the entire ship in full detail, every smell, every sense. You tell me it's incomplete?
That's terrifying. Don't ever do that again.
But it's good. It's a nice nod. Yeah, they're really improving this, aren't they? There's not a good reason for this stuff. The more levels down we go, there's less reason, which I like. Actually, it works.
Bernard Francis, $5. I do like the double turn here, though. Also, let's get to 150 likes. I agree. Let's get to 150 likes, guys.
You know what? I'm not going to go forward until we hit 120. It should be easy. Most of you haven't clicked like, so I want to see 120 likes. And Dave L says the paint job looks like it came right out of TOS. Yes, I would agree. But this is TNG.
I guess I didn't notice that because
it's just that pan. It's just the bad consoles that are clearly wooden painted that day, you know? Because it's not important in the grand scheme. 122! Thanks, guys.
All right, Area 51 puts in $5. A commercial I thought of after yesterday's review. Begin your morning with Klingon bran flakes. Glory to you and your bowels. That's glorious.
Oh, dear.
It's a good day to shit.
Speaking of shit...
I was wondering if you were going to call out this this corridor again.
Yep, because you weren't noticing until I pointed it out, and now you just can't not see it. It's their other... I like the panels in front. Good for them.
As soon as I saw it, I thought of you. I'm like, oh god, let's see what he says about this.
And instead, you prompted me, so I didn't get to say anything. I mean, they've got it. They might as well. And it's remarkable how changing the lighting can do so much for it.
But you did say something. Speaking of shit. So I knew where you were going.
Yes, but what isn't shit is their brilliant looking. I like the force field door thing, kind of cool.
That's great, yeah.
And the fact that it goes into this like it's not a cell. It's like this broken room of what even would you cave part? It's so
Well, this is like a storage room.
yeah.
And then the other parts, like the cave part, which they forgot about this when they redug their tunnels. What? Anyway, I gotta point out too, they got snow fence in here, or construction fence rolled up against the wall.
Yes, and they have those things in Star Trek 2 that stand out. I'm not sure where they're later, but yeah, a lot of those same reuse. And this bit, I again,
That's later.
Yeah, this bit you can tell that the program is really improving, because I don't know, Tomalak leaving him here doesn't feel quite right.
Well, he leaves him here, and literally a minute later he comes storming back in. All right, I've lost my patience. I want to.
Yep, doesn't. But there's a reason for that, because
Right.
they're trying to force the narrative of the internal narrative. But yeah, it doesn't feel right. But we've got to introduce the kid, which I certainly at the time I was thinking, okay, cool. And the way he reacts to him, I mean, he's buying this. Riker is absolutely in. I prefer that they play it that he wasn't forced to be in the holodeck with you. We use his likeness because it's not someone you knew. It wasn't a memory. It was a fresh perspective person. So I like that. It creates this nice bit of like Stockholm syndrome in a sense of like, well, I was captive, but he's part of that, but he isn't really. He was also captive. You know, it's a good way of forcing connections. That I thought was quite clever. But already, and this is really what I'm thinking. Oh, this is the downhill of the episode bit. You know, the best bits are behind us. It's like, oh.
Yep, it's a quick tumble to the finish line from here.
Oh, yeah.
We find out this kid's name is Ethan, though, and that he was brought there because their parents and him were on a research station on Meridian 6, and even Riker's like on the edge of the neutral zone. Surprise! It's odd that the Enterprise wasn't advised. Like, again, another clue that this isn't legit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the parents are gone, and this kid apparently escaped once, but you know he hid out in a secret place. He says for a while, and they only captured him when he came out for food, but he was hiding out there for weeks. And that's when Tomalak comes in again, storms in after just leaving. I want that information, Commander. And then the dumbest shit ever. The kid goes to run, and he punches out Tomalak, and then the kid is attacking the other Romulan.
Yeah, it's super abrupt and not believable. I mean, it like I say, sliding scope. And even it was the way that the kid punches him, it feels like a stunt guy. Like, he's actually a 6'2", 25-year-old stunt guy, but it's not. But yeah, it doesn't feel right, and yeah, it's weird.
We get some Romulan disruptor fire, which is cool.
Yes. Lots
I
of
do like the Romulan disruptors.
But as we know in Picard, Romulan disruptors don't have stun, so he's killing these guys. Oopsie. But yes. And then straight away, the vent. The thing that although in fact they did think to look in, but the vent. But it's a trope. It's a trope, you know.
Well, it goes to commercial, and then they come back and they're scanning, and the first thing he says is their sensors should have picked us up. No, they can't. I've heard them. Something in the rocks. Heavy metal? Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's not how it works. You have to scanning through heavy metal. That might be the problem. Or if, you know, it causes a distortion, whatever. But they're literally right behind the grate. So, again, just doesn't make a lot of sense. But it's not supposed to, and I can brush it aside because it is just this cave with these things that are trying to create a scenario. So, small thing. Anyway. But yeah, the Romulans forgot about the storage room when they rebuilt their tunnels. Well, this is the place you hid out before. Sure, they got you when you came out to find food, but it makes no sense that they forgot about these tunnels with all this stuff in there. Just saying. He's got a map. He shows them the supply depot and the communications, living quarters, shuttle bay. And we find out there's only a few guards, 2 or 3 in the shuttle bay, but we can't take a shuttle because they'll be able to track it too easily. And so we got to get into the communications.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with the whole scanning through, I'm not too against that, just because the rocks would just generate a general negative scan field. So
Dampening.
yeah, so that and it's actually kind of a nice like caveat, because he didn't say he got captured in these tunnels, otherwise they would know where he was. When he went out to look for food. So they do that in dialogue. That said, how did you eat for 4 weeks without food? And
Well, they left food in the rations in these storage rooms.
well, like they'd have to. And this is where I certainly was a bit like, the fact that the kid knows everything Riker's asking, he has a full map, he knows how many guards. None of those things I would buy that he would know, to that level of knowledge. You maybe could, but he doesn't seem that smart or well done, and you know, just like it is a storage room. There's no implication that these vents can go throughout the entire facility. The way they imply it is he moves out of his kiddie hole and then walks around and then sketches, but that's not what you know.
And again, how long can he keep this up? Like, this is a scenario that can't last very long unless they hide out there for weeks. But you know that's not going to be the case when you got a Starfleet commander doing his thing. This scenario is going nowhere really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this can't be maintained, unfortunately. Anyway, and then he's like, "Oh, you can't access the communications because it's voice activated." And Riker's like, "Well, whose voice activates it?" "Only Ambassador Tomalak." "Who?" "Tomalak. Ambassador Tomalak. Tomalak is a Romulan captain who's only an ambassador and a..." Okay, and the kid says, "Well, you told..." The kid should have said...
Yeah, should have said what?
"I'm back." The kid should have said, "I overheard them talking, and I heard Ambassador Tomalak."
Mm-hmm.
You know, that would have been more realistic.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I was less believing that he knows that you need a voice print for the communications array room. How would you know that? Because he wants Riker Pilot Bay to move forward and leave, so he needs to know stuff to help him escape. I don't buy he knows all this. It's just not believable to me.
It could have been. I mean, if they can't scan through the grates and he was hiding behind these walls, he could have overheard things. Like, he knows that.
But he knows everything.
It was weeks, man. Weeks.
Yeah. But I like how the way they play the scene, it's clear that he thinks that Riker's going to go the shuttle route, because obviously that you get to escape. But he's not a smart kid, really. And so Riker's like, "Oh, that's a dumb idea, it won't work." He's like, "Shit. Yeah, communications," because that's where he was hoping he'd go. He's hoping this great adventure with his sort of dad to the shuttle, yeah. And then if that had happened, they'd be like, "Why are they following us? Oh, I guess their ships don't work. Let's go, Dad." I mean, Riker.
It's an escalating thing. Once there's a problem, something else comes up. Like the shuttle would crash.
Or yeah. Well, that's true. That's next week.
Yeah. Because right here, also, "Oh, they found us. We got to go." And it's just like, yeah.
And isn't it such a funny little moment when, he calls them out, and then they found us, and then Tom just pushes the thing that took 2 of them to lift and moves them like they're nothing. Now, yes, that they are stronger. It makes sense.
I was gonna say,
but it plays like a joke. Oomph!
Yep.
Hello, we're here. It looks stupid. But it's meant to be comical, isn't it? I absolutely love. He throws the gun to Tomlock and he just grabs it and reverses it. That's such a simple little moment. It's really cool, actually.
Well, Riker says he's not going to play anymore, and everything disappears.
You know what? It should have been one more level. Should have been like, it was a Klingon trick.
At this point, I wouldn't believe anything. I'd be like, okay, this isn't real either. Which it's not, because the kid's still hiding who he is.
Yeah.
But anyway, they detect Riker now and talk to him, and it's like, "Yeah, I'm all right. Geordi and Worf are fine. They beamed up an hour ago." So this is all taking place in the space of an hour.
That threw me for an absolute loop.
Unless they went back
What? Unless they went what?
Unless they went back down to look for him and came back up.
Yeah.
I said unless they went back down.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't understand that line. Because, especially as Riker specifically calls out, Geordi's been fixing for 30 hours. Now, while I don't necessarily buy he spent 30 hours in there, he would have noted in the logs when he started the thing. It implies way... I don't buy all this happened in 1 hour. Including the Tomahawk interrogation. It's a busy hour. I just don't buy it. It's too much. So that line does not make much sense.
No, that bugged me too.
Whenever you give the specific, exact measurements. I mean, maybe he could be in an hour and 59 minutes, 45 seconds, but I'm rounding down.
Still, 2 hours seems like a little light.
Oh yeah, I was expecting like 15 hours, like a full half day.
Yeah,
you know.
I'd say a full day at the most. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Would have been kind of cool if it was.
Bernard Francis, $10.
Oh, thank you.
Fellas, have a drink on me. I enjoy cheap rum or expensive whiskey. You? Virgin drinks are also acceptable. I love all kinds of alcohol and non-drinks. So, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a vodka man with orange juice. If it's good orange juice and good vodka, makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Brian Straight, $5.
Oh,
Future Imperfect is what I call the current generation of Trek series. Dun dun dun.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Future shit.
Yeah. But then you get the real backstory in, again, Planet Hellset. Kind of feels flat, kind of doesn't... Needed something else to make this pop.
Yeah.
But the kid's good, though. I mean, he acts it reasonably well, you know.
Yeah. There's neural scanners there that his mom left behind. They were running from the people that annihilated their race, I guess. They knew they wouldn't. She knew that they wouldn't stop looking for her. But she left him here with the neural scanners to give him anything he wanted. I assume she's dead, or she took off to lead them in another direction, perhaps. But and yeah, he wanted somebody to interact with because he's been alone for a while. So it's kind of a sad story, but anyway, yeah. So we see the neural scanners in the stalagmites and stalactites, and it's a pretty cool setup. Read your mind. So a lot of the stuff that we saw from the vision was from Riker's mind, as he would have imagined things were 16 years in the future. But considering it starts out that way, I find that a little odd. Once he realized he was 16 years in the future, it would kind of go through what he was thinking, perhaps, and extrapolate what things might look like. But
yeah,
anywho.
I don't quite buy that. I feel like it's him, the kid, controlling it more. Especially if they've got different brain chemistry. You know, especially
since the kid needed to help him with the computer each time. Like once the kid came in, he could pull up whatever, right?
Yeah, that doesn't quite feel logical to me.
No.
Especially based on how it keeps reacting. That's so linked to the kid and him together. And like I said at the start, it makes sense they're challenging things for him, but I don't see that's how he thinks it would go. I mean, why the Romulan link? There's no reason. The only reason the Romulans are there is because there's a double Romulan reveal. Why would Riker's brain think he saved Romulans? You know what I mean? I don't buy that. But the kid might think that because he knows about the Romulans in the neutral zone. So I don't buy that.
I don't have a problem with that because they were getting scanned from this planet. There's rumors that there's a secret Romulan outpost. The away team went down specifically to look for evidence of Romulans. So that would all be fresh in Riker's mind.
But go to peace, you know?
Well...
Like, that's a stretch. Why would he think?
That's the hopeful view of every Starfleet officer, to eventually maintain or establish peace with the Romulans.
But then he approaches it with such, I don't believe this. You know, if he's given what he thinks should happen and then doesn't believe it. So it would have kind of been nice if it was more believable and he just accepts it. But that's a fine balance. But yeah, then he reveals that he's an alien. Very kind of classic alien-looking alien, which I believe we see again as a background extra. I believe. And then
maybe his name is Barash.
My name is Barash. Hello. And he's just like, and now I'm stealing you. Cool, bye. It's like, oh, That was very,
So
very, very abrupt of like, yeah, you'll come with me. Don't be alone. Even though I don't know what you eat, drink, where you're from, how I'm going to get you, who's going to care for you. None of these concerns. Let's just take you away from your habitat. Cool. Bye.
it's not his habitat. It's just
Well, it's his current habitat.
it's where he's been. Yeah, yeah. So, do they find this race? Did they find his mom? Is his mom still alive? Is his mom on the run? Mom on the run. I don't know.
I kind of wish it was the Romulans that were killing them. That sounds kind of harsh, but to give them that connection with the Romulans or the Borg, it's kind of nebulous that who or what, you know.
Yeah, so that's it, guys. That is Future Imperfect, and it's one of the most It's one of the most perfect episodes of TNG, in my opinion, even though it's imperfect.
So, would you say it's a future perfect?
It's a current perfect, I guess. I don't know. It's good.
It's present day perfect.
Jason Moe, $5. I remember watching this as a kid and being 100% convinced that Riker was going to adopt this alien kid and it would completely shake up the show. Nope. Yeah, I remember thinking the same thing. Like, is this kid going to be here next week? Like, what? And just no.
Because he's a decent actor, so you're not thinking, ugh. You're thinking, yeah. And we just had Alexander, so there is a precedent of a kid. We also had the other kid that never came back again, but we did have Alexander, you know.
Bernard Francis puts another $5.
Thank you.
Jeff Jacobs is the best and perfectly imperfect. Why do I get the feeling that Bernard Francis is also a Jeff Jacobs account? I'm just kidding. It's probably not. But Jeff Jacobs is the best? Really?
Well, maybe it's revealed that he's a Romulan, and then it's revealed it's actually Jeff behind the scenes. It's a double reveal.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, guys, thanks to the Super Chats. I'd love to see another 20 or 30 as our last TNG review life that we can actively plan. As tomorrow, you can look forward to Stuart's first reaction on Lower Decks, the brand new Star Trek series. We've got another one this year, guys. Wahey. And Friday for our special coverage. And hopefully, because we're not going to force out videos for the sake of it, hopefully there'll be content that we can make over the course of the week. You know what we aim for, guys. We know you love it. So please tune in. We're right on the cusp, guys. Right on the cusp. I'm kind of glad we ended on such a highlight TNG one. It's kind of nice to end out the batch. But guys, put your review scores now for this episode out of Season 3 and out of all TNG, and Super Chat for Stuart to read them out and non-Super Chat for me to read them out. And I want to see some review scores. So Stuart, final review. And do you think any different having now done this level of review? Because I feel like we've kind of thought about it more than we would normally.
A little bit. I like things were pointed out to me that I hadn't noticed before. So, but the thing is, even the bad sets for the Romulans, I'll be explained away. That's just an inaccuracy in the neural scanner reading or whatever.
No, I wasn't complaining. I was more just pointing out that was a low point.
Oh, I know.
But that's not saying that much. You know, it's not necessarily negative per se.
Yeah. No. Like, this is a great Star Trek premised episode. You got an alien creature at the end. You got the Romulan involvement. You got the future timeline or alternate reality vibe, which I love alternate reality and timeline stories.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on here. Plus, you get to see new comm badges, a much better bridge, in my opinion. I do love the consoles on the side. I think that is something that bridge always needed.
A damn sleek Admiral's uniform.
Picard with the facial hair looks really great. There's a lot of good stuff in this episode, and it's very much it's a great Star Trek episode. It just says Star Trek all over it. Like, this is one I would recommend to people to watch. So it's definitely up in my top 10, top 5 TNG episodes. So for scoring, it's going to get very, very good score for me. For season 4, it's definitely going to get a 9.5 out of 10. For all of TNG, it's either going to get a 9.5 or a 10. Just because this is one that I absolutely love. And if I had to go through and pick a few from each season, this would definitely always be on the list. I love watching this one. And but that being said, this time I noticed how short it was in the future Imperfect part. It feels longer the first couple times you watch it, or when you're not paying as much attention to it as we were. It just kind of goes by too quickly. It's like I'm enjoying the world that they're creating here, and it's just gone. So that's kind of a bummer. But yeah, it's a near perfect Star Trek episode in my opinion. So I'll go with a 10 for all TNG. Why not? Ha! Got to have at least 1 or 2, 3 or 4 or 5 10s.
Yeah, I mean, you got to save the ultra high mega scores, you know. But therefore, that they're really appreciated when we get there. Yeah, for me, this one is a incredible concept. The fact they commit is amazing. Riker's great. He underacts, but it works in this case. But I do think it's a missed opportunity episode. Whereas with ESS Enterprise, they fully commit, and everything is an opportunity they utilize, except the battle at the end, which is pretty poor. It's a full opportunity, and even the details that we don't see. I mean, I guess the bridge is, again, not fully done, but everything else is so full. This one, like I say, Data should have been utilised. Geordi, Worf, something. Even just one briefing scene with the whole crew, so you get to see the dynamicness together. And I do think they waste too much time at the start, because there's so much gold. And it's all a bottle show anyway. You don't need these first scenes to save money. Have them more. So this episode could have been better very easily. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's like if I was to say some TNG episodes were better if they were Orville episodes, because they can go one step further. It's not bad, but in this watch I was like, oh, I wanted so much more. It should have been so much more. Why did we get Redemption Part 1 and Part 2? I'd rather have this Part 1 and Part 2, Would have been
I agree.
Would have been a better two-parter. But hey, better than Best of Both Worlds, hands down. Better written, better acted, all that jazz. Better pacing, whatever.
This would have been a great season finale as a Part 1.
Yeah. Yep.
And not get the reveal of the alien at the end.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's like, Picard's not going to die. It's not real, but it would have been just as dramatic, It really is the future. Da-da-dum.
Yeah.
And we could have, seen a future spaceship they designed just this one episode, etc., etc. So it has missed opportunities. That said, that's an unfair metric because it could have been better. It's just such a good idea. It doesn't say anything about the episode itself. It's paced well, if a little bit slow, but so was last week. But it's very similar to last week, and it's all character stuff. It's all talkies. But I do think the Beverly stuff's too long, the start's too much, and the end stuff with the Romans isn't as good as it could be. But it's such a great premise, and none of it's bad. So it's a tricky score. What did you end on for all of TNG again? I didn't write it down.
10. 10. It's
you
10.
end on... Okay.
This is definitely one of my favorites.
It's definitely the best of this season. Yeah, of the 8. Hands down the best of this season.
So far.
Yes. Oh, yes. Well, yeah.
Let's clarify that.
Yes. For me, I'm going to say... For this season, 9.2. Because its flaws are there, but they don't make it bad. It just could be better. All TNG... I guess a 9, but 9 point something. It's one of those ones, if you do another review episode after we've done 7 seasons and look at our 9s and 10s, how would we score them? Now we're looking at the top tier. I would need to see it compared.
Might be some reshuffling that has to be done when we're done.
Because yes, this Enterprise is better. Easily better, right? There are ones that are just easily better. Measure of Man's better, but for different reasons. But I don't enjoy it as much, but it's better because the script's much better.
Yeah, I go with enjoyability factor and rewatchability. Those are really important to me, as I've said many times.
But we can both agree, you take the first and last 5 minutes out for not being as enjoyable. So that's a whole 10 minutes that you don't enjoy as much. You know what I mean? That's the problem with enjoyability factor.
True, but it's easily forgotten because you think back on this episode, you don't remember the beginning, you don't remember the end necessarily. So I don't know. Yeah, I see what you're saying though.
Yeah. But it's good though. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what you guys have to say. Eugene puts in.
You know what? Sorry. Side note.
Oh.
What would be fun is do a re-edit this episode. You take out all the initial stuff. You start and then you add space shots in between with like either the E or like a modified D looks like from the future to kind of make it feel more futury. See how that would feel.
X.
Yeah, but like different nacelles to make it like more, because 16 years is a long time, make it more like E nacelles. So like, how could you make it even more like cold start?
Well, you notice they never showed the exterior of the Enterprise.
Yeah, they do show the MSD though next to Geordie, so we know it's just a Galaxy class. You have to Photoshop that in. But it's like Enterprise, the last episode. That it should be the NX refit or NX triple refit, but they never show it to save money.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, go for it.
Anyway, yes. So Eugene puts in 300 rubles and says, 8.5 out of 10. A lot of story development and production. Good start, mediocre end, abrupt finale as always. By the way, is Future Imperfect a wordplay on past perfect tense? Yes. I mean, just it's the future, but there was little things that made it.
Yeah. It's a more literal
imperfect.
one than we get normally.
Yeah. It's a great title too.
Yeah.
Tenchi 2K7 $5. We should rate episode title names, how they apply to the episodes. That'd be great. Anyway, Tenchi 2K7 $5. I give this an 8 out of 10 for season 4 and a 7.5 out of 10 for all of TNG. Okay. Ozzy, 5 out of 10. Or 5 out of 10. $5. Oh my god. This episode gets an 8.5 out of 10. Trekyards gets a 10 out of 10. You'll always be JL to me. Skeleton hands. You just ruined your comment.
You did.
Bernard Francis, $5. Have 5 more ducats on me. Thank you very much, Bernard. You've been awesome this live. Thank you. That Thing You Can't Find puts in $5. 8 out of 10. Great beginning and middle. The ending is a little meh. The ending's a bit shit. No.
The thing is, it's meh because it's meant to be meh. All these amazing epic things, it's just a kid on a planet in a grey cave. Like, yeah. It's always going to feel meh. And that's intentional, you know?
See, I feel like I enjoy this more than a lot of you guys by the looks of it, because I'm a little bit higher, but this is one that's definitely one of my faves. So
I think what would have made it better in the grand scheme of canon is if they'd had the Best of Both Worlds All Good Things uniforms. I know they couldn't have possibly predicted that, but if they'd had the future uniforms as well, and even one exterior shot of the Galaxy X, if again for some reason we had that future canon, if you like the TOS remaster the bridge, if you could rotoscope everyone into those uniforms, that would amp up even more. So it really feels like a future. Small thing, but that's what I would do if I could retcon it.
But, see, I kind of love that they didn't show the exterior of the Enterprise. All you're seeing is what Riker's seeing.
Yeah.
You're just seeing his journey on this. You would never see the ship from the outside. You know?
Because you could have had him though, at the comp. Well, no, you could have him at the briefing room, looking out the third nacelle.
Ooh, I like that.
He's like,
that's great. Yeah, he's just standing there staring at it, and that's when Troy and Picard come in, and him kind of go look back at it, and then just sit down, shake his head and go, okay, whatever.
Adeline comes in. Will, it's good to see you. Have you seen this? Yes, Will, I've seen the third nacelle. It's been on the ship for 12 years. Yeah,
but the rules. Oh, the design rules. They got thrown out the window about 5 years ago. All the modern technology.
We can go warp 16 now. What?
And not turn into salamanders.
What?
That wasn't a thing yet, so hey.
I don't have aromatic syndrome. What? But
Bernard Francis puts in $5. My score, a solid 9 for all of TNG, and the best, so 10 for season 4.
Hey.
Ozzy Medeiros, $5. That's okay, Captain Foley, Skeleton Hands. Yes, that's okay.
So put your scores now as well. Anybody want me to read them out? And guys, we're at 134 likes, still 105 people watching. I mean, we can get 150 likes. It's a legitimately important thing for analytics on YouTube to click that like button. It is free if you've got an account, so just click it. Don't click it twice, you'll lose your own like. That's a mistake people have made. I mean, we have thousands of likes normally, but people click it twice because they think they're going to help and it just loses the like.
So today is a good day to like.
Yeah, and it will bring glory to you and your mouse.
And your YouTube channel.
Yes. Yes. 134. Come on. 150. I want to see it. I need to see it. I need to be one with the likes.
And nobody is commenting their scores in just regular chat.
And hopefully you guys enjoyed our bit at the start, because I literally just abruptly was on live with Stuart.
Yeah, he threw that at me, and I'm like, oh, I have the Trekyards comm badge like that. I thought about it earlier in the day, and then I'm like, it's not really the right shirt for it. And I'm like, whatever, I'll just throw it on. So.
But how surprised were you to see me in full uniform and the correct comm badge?
Well, as soon as I saw the uniform, I'm like, what? And then I saw the comm badge like right away, and I'm like, oh, okay. Makes perfect sense.
You better reacted as well. It's like as if you're used to this sort of shit. Like, you're not surprised I have the uniform and the comm badge and I was ready. No surprise at all.
Let's see. Area 51 throws in $2. Commander, one more. What? Before I go.
What?
There you go.
139 likes. 11 more likes. But yes, let's read some scores. Let's see what other people said. Let's see if we're overestimating. Which is weird, because there's no ship stuff really in this one to bias us necessarily. Just kind of the whole thing, you know? 9.75 from Chuck. 8 out of 10 from Norman. 6.5 for Dave L. Ooh, much lower. Devro 8. Redneck Trekker 8. Very TOS vibe. I could see that. That actually could have been kind of fun to see Kirk like wake up in a alternate future. That could be kind of cool. And if they'd known canon, or actually, hey, do a Star Trek movie in the Wrath of Khan universe and have William Shatner wake up back in TOS uniform on the TOS sets.
Yeah, that
would have been a cool movie.
Yeah,
that'd been a real cluster F for the audience. Like, wait, what? That was 20 years ago. He wore those uniforms. That'd been kind of cool. Donnie 8.5 and 10 for all TNG. Wow, okay, cool. And yes, people saying this reminds them of the Stargate episode where wake up, you're in the future, which I think you mentioned to this, which is funny timing that we haven't both watched both. But it's definitely very similar vibes. And that's why I said do at the time. I wish that committed longer, like this did, and less clip show. 6.5 to Dan, which is not as high for Dan. Little Jericho 7, Colin Barrett 9, Robbie 8. So we're definitely on the high side, but people enjoy it still.
I thought the scores would be higher, honestly, but what do I know?
Well, like I say, the script it excels at nothing, but it creates a really successful vibe. You know. I guess it excels at the bridge. Yeah. Guys, eight more likes. 8, only 8.
Oh, we can get 8 likes. Yeah, speaking of the bridge, I mean, I love it. I think it's great. I wish they would have kept that. The stripes on the doors even look good.
Yeah.
Jason Moe puts in $5. Are you gentlemen sad to learn this is all an elaborate simulation and that demotions are in order? No, I like being a captain.
I was promoted well beyond my age, and I've stayed, and I was like Kirk. I got to rank commander and then stagnated for 5 years. So I mean, can't complain that much, can I? But not quite as bad as Kirk. In 09. 144. Go on, 6 more likes. We are so close.
6 likes, guys. 110 of you here. I know 6 of you haven't hit like button. Just hit it. Hit it. Only hit it once though, for sure. Dave L. Computer exit. Yeah, see, that's the thing. If I was Riker for the next week, I'd be like, "Is this real? Did I actually beam back to the Enterprise?"
Yeah, it would have been nice if they'd had a moment of that, of like, "Is this real?
Prove to me who you say you are."
Yeah, but that's okay. 3 more likes. 3 more likes. 3 more likes.
Eugene. 150 rubles. I'm surprised you scored this higher than Reunion. In my opinion, it's less memorable and less significant. Yeah, but I didn't like Reunion. It's a personal preference thing. This is just one of the ones I really enjoy. And Reunion was all right, but And Bernard Francis, $5. Come on, we need 157 likes.
Oh God, wrapping it again.
No, just 150 is fine.
I mean, Reunion's a better Star Trek Prime episode because it means something and it progresses important storylines. This one is a more TOS, better single story because
it's a fun episode.
Yeah, it's focused, it's fun. Like I said, needs one of the other characters that lets it down, but whatever. But we also Alternate Universe is always fun, always fun. Yeah, I don't know.
You're gonna find with me, guys, if you watch these on a regular basis, time travel ones, parallel or alternate reality ones. I really enjoy these. So.
Well, I could watch. Now you know me, I don't tend to watch episodes that many times, so I know them all. I could watch the future bit of this episode more than once. Reunion, I've watched it. I enjoyed it. I'm not in a rush to watch it again. You know.
Yeah.
Good episode, but this is definitely a more watchable one. Guys, 148. Come on, 2 more likes. 2 more likes.
We're just gonna be stuck in limbo here forever.
Yeah. 149. Who will be the 150 and the last super chat? That is a premiere slot.
Well, right now it's Bernard Francis, who's actually put in a lot of super chats today, so he maybe deserves that last super chat slot.
That would be fair. But yeah, Stuart, how do you feel about tomorrow's first reaction?
Well, it's going to be late because I don't see it until 9 o'clock. It's coming on CTV Sci-Fi, so.
But I sent you the thumbnail, which I'm assuming you got.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, just stay tuned for that. Probably around, I would say 10. Yeah, I'd say 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just because it's only half an hour. So
yeah,
gives me half an hour to get ready and stuff.
And we may or may not do a cheeky little hour. What do we think might happen? So we feel.
Yeah, that's tomorrow's live. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it'd be kind of nice to have like a speculation and get everything wrong. You know, it'd be kind of nice. But unlike normal trailers, there's like a hint of story. There's no hint of story here, so it's a little bit harder to like guess and stuff. But that's
it'll just be a fun discussion talking about stuff. So, Jeff Jacobs, $2.50. You guys make me so proud. Best fans ever. Made Jeff pay. And Bernard Francis, $5. Come on, 150. Let's do it. To it. Let's do it to it. He's got the last super chat slot again.
I'm at 151. We did it. Woo!
Nice.
Well done, guys. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. And I hope you liked the bit at the start because I had fun with that.
Yeah, that was fun.
See you tomorrow. Bye, guys.